All right, homie. We recording.
Yo.
All right, Double Edge fam people. Today, we got the legendary. I'd say you're legendary. You fit the mold. CrossFit code. Cody Burch.
Hey.
Those of you that don't know Cody, if you're new to the gym and whatnot, well, I'll have him explain, but he's been around this place a long time, done a lot of things here, even coached for a while. And so let's take it back real quick, Code. Introduce yourself. How'd you end up at Double Edge? And give us a little backstory here.
Sure, yeah. So I started here in, it was actually late 2018. I think October was my first intro class over at South with Joel. And you guys were running some promotion back then, 1 month for $99, I think is maybe what it was.
Yeah, imagine that now I'm doing 1 month for free.
Exactly. Exactly. So did the intro class, came for a month. Then I went on a trip. So I was gone for, a week. And so then when I came back, I think I would have had to sign up and commit. And I just started bodybuilding up to this point, or maybe I was lifting for 6 months or something like that. So like I enjoyed what I did CrossFit wise, but also it was completely different than what I was used to. And then I came back, actually went to BlizzCon, total nerd convention, World of Warcraft stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I came back, I was like, oh, I could go back to CrossFit, or I could just like go do my own thing again like I was. So I chose that. And I don't know, looking back, I don't know why I chose it, because I really enjoyed what I had learned and started with CrossFit, but I was kind of torn. So did that for the remaining 2-3 months. And then I was like, okay, now I'll came back. So I started again 2019 of January, late January 2019. That was when I committed, signed up, and then I've been here ever since. So it's been 6 years now.
6 years.
6 years consistent member. So working out for 2019 up to 2020, mid 2020. I got my level 1, actually 2019 Thanksgiving. That's a funny story. We got so many different stories we can go over, but just like, how you heard that I wanted to coach.
Yeah.
Got me the level 1, did that. Had the level 1 in the back pocket from Thanksgiving or November of 2019 up until COVID, July. And you just sent me a text one day, like the month before, maybe a couple weeks before, like, hey, I need you to start coaching. And I was working for Apple at the time, just went remote because of COVID. So they shut everything down. I became remote for the last couple months up until that point. So it worked out perfectly because I could work my 9 to 5. And then I was going to coach 6:30 only because Chase was going back to school. So I started in July, coached for 6 months, 6:30 only. Wes left.
Yep.
Became full-time in 2021, January 1st, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30. Did that until Jess left.
Yep.
Then I switched to mornings. Chase came back to the afternoons. So we sort of swapped, or he took my place. I took Jess's place. Coached mornings, 7, 9, 11, 12. Whole remaining of 2022, or I guess, the remaining of 2022, almost through all of 2023. And then stepped away from coaching full-time to what I do now, Reno area home buyers. And so I've been there a year and a half. Still coach part-time. Saturdays at South, you can always find me, and I'll fill in if I can with
you always jump in when people need time off and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, reason to bring Cody on the podcast today, one, catch up with him. I mean, he's a staple around here. Introduce him to members that don't know him because he's not around here all day anymore. But catching up with some of the past coaches and where they're at in life and things are going on. Cody's had a lot of things happen over the last few years. It's been exciting. And from the outside looking in, it's been cool to witness. It's been cool to witness you taking a different path in life, but still taking ownership of your health in that process. So a couple of things he left out there. He broke the employee manual, started dating his now wife, who also worked for us back then.
Yep. And that was totally not planned, of course, but
so funny.
Stuff happens, I guess.
Yep. I got to take that, but I might as well just remove it from the employee handbook,
Yeah, especially, I don't know how many,
there's been a handful.
I would say, I don't know how many coach to member or coach to coach relationships there's been, but there's at least 3 or 4. And then how many relationships
5.
are just within members,
Yeah.
But
I mean, member to member, I have no influence over.
Yeah,
no,
true.
I don't want to be known as the gym, but these have all been rock solid relationships for the most part that I know. And I mean, you got Wes and Shay, you and Lindsay, Jess and Ryan.
Jamie Chase.
Yep. These are all just popping off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
just quick ones. And those are all coach related.
Yeah. I mean, you're around a group of people that are like-minded, work hard, have all the right qualities, take care of their health. Like, it's hard to ignore that, attraction happens.
Yeah, and I think it's a common thing just in general for gyms, or probably more CrossFit gyms, like-minded people, but also working out with generally probably more attractive people because we care about the way we look. A lot of times in provocative clothing. Guys always take their shirts off. Girls are in skimpy booty shorts and sports bras. It's kind of natural to look or whatever.
To pretend it doesn't happen in the gym would be ignorant to say.
Exactly.
Cody's just saying what everybody else is thinking.
Right. And naturally, I was looking at Lindsay.
Yeah. So they met, started dating. They've actually both worked here during that time. Cody worked at Midtown. Lindsay worked at South. And then you guys got hitched, and you didn't waste any time. Mm-mm. You went ahead and procreated real quick.
Yeah.
What was the time like? I mean, I obviously was at your wedding.
Yeah. So we got married in August 2023, and then we found out Lindsay was pregnant in January of 2024.
Damn. Now he's a dad.
That's right.
Now he's a dad.
And he's 7 months old now.
Yeah. What's little homie's full name?
Wyatt Lincoln Birch.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
And he's already grinding away, thick boy.
Thick boy. I was 9 pounds, 12 ounces when he was born. All the doctors I guess when he was born, they were kind of guessing or betting each other, oh, he's 7'10" or he's 8'5", and then they weighed him 9'12", and everyone's like, what the hell?
Damn.
He was measuring 8.5 or something like that too. So he came out big, and he's in the 80th to 90th percentile for all of his height, weight, head size, which is kind of funny. But I don't know, because I'm a normally sized, not big person. My family doesn't have anybody tall or size wise. Lindsay's family doesn't. Her dad's sisters are tall. They're all 6 foot, but it's that got to be where it comes from. Who knows?
Bro, it's because she did CrossFit while she was pregnant.
Could very well be, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because some kids are born small, grow up just fine. Some kids are born big, grow up just fine. I don't know if there's any formula. Obviously, mom's nutrition, mom's health, everything does probably contribute to that. But yeah, he was a thick boy when you sent those first pictures of him. I was like, dude.
Yeah, I know, which is funny. And doctors were saying that if Lindsay would have waited another couple days, she probably would have had to get a C-section just because he would have been too big. So thankfully it worked out that we didn't have to. But
yeah, mom's healthy, baby's healthy, dad's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
All good things. All good things. So this brings me to my first topic I want to ask you.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
31.
31. So you're in that, 20s. You already had your time of life because prior to starting working out, doing your trial at the gym, if you guys didn't know this, Cody is he's kind of a video game nerd, but he's a nerd all around. Straight A student, crushed college, your degrees in computer sciences, a very smart, intellectual human being, but he's also a gaming nerd. And how did that gaming past contribute to your health?
Negatively at first. So you get away with it when you're obviously younger.
Yeah.
But I've played video games ever since I can remember. Always been into it since just a kid. And that carries on into elementary school, middle school, high school. And I was never overly sized or super heavy until college, really, is when it kind of hit. And it wasn't immediate.
Yeah.
It was maybe sophomore to junior to senior year. It was when it started to catch up to me.
The extra calories started adding on.
Yeah. And it wasn't necessarily the gaming portion. Obviously that's not healthy, but it's the diet that went along with it. And the laziness.
I mean, it's not the act of playing video games, but traditionally it seems that people that spend a lot of time sitting around, you're not snacking on salads and, and less movement.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Virtually zero. And my diet was basically fast food 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or some sort of something convenient and easy. And if it wasn't fast food, it was microwave chicken or Hot Pockets or pizza,
Yeah, kind of exaggerated college life. processed food diet.
Exactly.
I mean, I was there. I got up 220 something pounds during college. I remember because your pants and stuff kind of stretch with you as you're getting thicker. And I remember I had to go remember clear as day Macy's, I had to go buy new jeans. I just needed, they're finally toast. And my standard jean purchase was typically like a 34. Go grab a pair of 34s, head to the dressing room. That shit don't button. Go grab a pair of 36s, head to the dressing room. Get it buttoned, but it ain't right.
Tight.
38s. I remember it clear as day.
Damn.
I put those pants back on the shelf, went and got a gym membership at 24 Hour Fitness, and dropped close to 20 pounds in like 3 months.
Wow.
But that was my college unhealthy growth days. And Cassie's been with me this whole time.
There you go.
But
that says a lot.
yeah, so I get it. College, the freshman 15 or whatever it is, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And the reason I bring it up is because now Cody is known as one of the fittest people in the gym. Constantly putting good scores up on the leaderboard, always willing to do some of the shittiest workouts, always signing up to do crazy events. But now you're 30. This is where a lot of folks in life, especially 30 with, new marriage, job change, new child. This is a pivot point of life where like you start seeing, I'm going to use the word men your age, that dad bod really starts coming in strong.
Mm-hmm.
And people let their health get away from them. You haven't done that.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I was already fat. Like the fuck's a dad bod, to me, right? Like I'm not gonna. I already lived that life, which I'm thankful for in many ways. It sucked in the time because it's pretty like depressing and sad, whatever. But looking back, I'm grateful for it because now I know what direction to not go down. Yeah. And I think, a lot of the people that embrace the dad bod or happens, I don't know if they embrace it per se, but they didn't experience that because they were jocks or whatever it may be. They were super athletic, fit, whatever happened in their life, they never experienced it. So then they kind of let themselves go because they didn't live that pain early.
Yeah. And then they seem to, and culturally, not want to wake up from it. Because the amount of excuses I hear from various people outside the gym I come into contact with, like, oh, I don't have time for this, can't do that. But you've managed to find time. Like, you're no longer, quote unquote, gym rat. You don't have the gym as your job, and you're still making it happen. And it's awesome. It's been cool to watch because you haven't even missed a beat in taking care of your health. And Lindsay's doing the same thing, taking care of her health and she had a job change also. So you guys both gone through a pretty significant family evolution and you're still making your health as a family priority.
Yeah. So I think there's two parts of that, at least for me.
You're holding little homie this weekend at the High Rocks event.
Yeah.
Why Lindsay competed.
Yep. I guess actually a good point. So I was gonna say there's two parts for that, at least for me. I think there's three parts, and so Wyatt being a big inspiration, of course, probably the biggest. But the other two, other than that, is just like that. I've already lived that life before. I was miserable, sucked. I will never go back to it. And it's just, so I guess that's point number one. And then point number two is just, I love being here and I love being at the gym. I love the community we have. I love seeing everybody, being friends with everyone, talking to everybody. It gives me energy to be here. It might feel like shit. Might have a terrible day, whatever it may be. But when I walk in the doors, I know that it's going to be at least a better hour. Yeah. If I did have a bad day or whatever it is, it'll at least be a better hour than I had the previous hours during the day or whatever it may be. And if I had a great day, well, it's not going to be a terrible hour. Yeah, the workout might suck, might be hard, but it's so rewarding to be done.
Yeah.
To look back on, the workout that you just did, whatever it may be. And so there's that. But I think a lot of it just speaks to the community that you have built, you and Jacob have built, Double Edge Fitness in general. And yeah, CrossFit in general has great communities and things, but I can't speak for any other gym because this is the only gym I've ever known, CrossFit wise. And like, I couldn't see myself trying to start over going to another gym or whatever it may be. All my friends are from Double Edge. Anybody I hang out with is from Double Edge. if I hang out with anybody that's not from Double Edge, it's because they're like a one-off, which is very rare, or like I was friends with them in high school or college or something like that.
You do have a couple friends that have been friends for a long time.
Exactly. But everybody else, everyone that came to the wedding, other than like some family members, all Double Edge members.
Yeah.
Right?
It was pretty stacked with DE crew.
Exactly. And so not only is it coming to the gym and working out and taking care of my health, a lot of it is just like coming and seeing my friends, hanging out with my friends, seeing the coaches, seeing everybody, connecting with them, socializing with them. Even if the workout looks boring, sucks, hard, easy, like we can all do that together, suffer together, cruise together, whatever it may be, and we're having a good time.
Yep.
So,
do you find that obviously there's more stressors in life now? I mean, you do have, from what I can tell, it's a demanding job. And kid and other responsibilities and stuff. I mean, I think it goes without saying, working out helps with managing stress. But I also find, for me personally, and people take this with a grain of salt because I'm the guy that owns the gym and I'm in the gym all the time. But you were a coach in that environment. Now you're still a coach, but you're more a member now than you are a coach. That coming in and seeing these people and connecting with the community, like for me, it's a big part of my mental health. Like it just makes me happy. And like my day's better.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Me too. And, you know, being like looking at it from the member perspective now, like still a coach, but like when I'm in class, I will talk to people. Obviously, I'm not going to not talk. I'm very social in general. But I step back and I just like kind of hang out while Chase is coaching, you know, whoever the coach is. And I'm not trying to take the coach mindset and be like, oh, I should, because that's not my role.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm embracing it fully as a member. So if I wasn't a coach, I'm being a member and I'm seeing what it would be like if I had no coaching background or didn't know what it was like to coach. And I feel comfortable. So even if I didn't know the coaching spot, I feel good just being there and like, okay, this is a good spot to be as a member.
Yeah. Yeah. And you started this whole journey 6 years ago with 0 CrossFit experience.
Oh yeah. 0 CrossFit experience.
You honestly didn't do a lot of sports growing. Did you do any?
No. I mean, I say no really like no. I played basketball in 8th grade.
Okay.
I raced a little bit of motocross, but not enough to say that I would talk about it like with people.
Yeah. So you weren't like I had Carl and Ryan on here. I mean, they're the quintessential jocks, if you will. I mean that in the kindest of terms, but they're very athletic, both played college sports and like went through high school playing sports. Like it was a big deal to them. They embraced CrossFit. But then somebody who had, because what I'm getting at is a lot of people have this assumption that CrossFit's just for previous athletes. You have to be an elite athlete to do this kind of training. But you came into it and became, I mean, you are really good at CrossFit now. But you started with, I mean, 0 background in this, like barely touching a barbell outside of some bro lifting.
Yeah, literally, that's it. Yeah. I never had done power cleans or anything like that. I took weights senior year. So we back squatted. I think that was probably the only head bench. But outside of that, like, no, didn't touch anything sports related or dive into it. I was never anything like that, dude. My fun and my hanging out with the friends was us playing World of Warcraft all night. 2 a.m. hits. We hop in the car. We drive to Jack in the Box. We get like 20 tacos, milkshakes, French bunch of curly fries, and we eat that. Go back to the house, eat that, play World of Warcraft, continue till 4 or 5, go to bed, wake up and basically repeat. So,
and he still got straight A's in school.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, school was easy. Like, and I don't say that to like,
no, but you
flex.
You do have a gift. Like, you're very intellectual.
Well, yeah, thank you. And the whole point I was trying to say, or like, so yeah, basically circling back, no sports, and the minimal like lifting experience I had only happened for, maybe 8 months until I started CrossFit. Yeah. Because I started in lifting in the beginning of 2018. That was like my New Year's resolution. I had just gotten out of a pretty serious relationship with the girl I dated from college. We had broken up, and I was like, okay, like, and I've I think everyone has thought this. If you never have made a fitness change or a health change before, you're like, all right, this is going to be the time I make a change. So you can sign up for a gym membership. And I've done that 3 or 4 times up until that point. I would go for a week and be like, this doesn't work. Or there's something, it's just me. You know, I'm not meant to do this. And then, so anywho, I did that and lifted for 8 months until, September, I guess it was October. So 10 months until then started CrossFit for that short period. Took a couple months off and then didn't really start until that January. So no experience. And the experience I had of lifting was following, random bodybuilding.com program.
Classic.
Back and buys one day, chest and tries, legs and shoulders, abs.
Yeah. Don't knock it. Those still work.
Oh, for sure.
But one of the biggest things when it comes to training traditional bodybuilding splits and whatnot is, one, it's boring and monotonous. Doesn't have the same community vibe. And that's like 2 key components of why, after all my years in the fitness industry, I still firmly believe CrossFit. I think its methodology is sound, but because the constantly varied function movements executed at high intensity component of it all, and the community piece, it facilitates more consistency because it's not boring.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it with people together, and you kind of feed off that. And I've done the traditional bodybuilding splits. I still do them. But back in the day, I was just grinding out by myself. And that's coming from a pretty heavy sports background. And it's when I found CrossFit and then eventually turned it into the career path, it transformed my life in that the community and the hard work together. And that's what drew me in more than anything. And it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Cody's got a pretty awesome story. And I just wanted him to highlight that a little bit because he is not your, what would I say, what people think of as you're just like, this is the person that does CrossFit. He started with no experience, and now he is legitimately one of the fittest people in the gym. Like, I got you, by 1 rep yesterday?
Yeah. That was a tough 1 rep, dude. I was like I finished the burpee or something. It was like 5 seconds. Even if I walked over to the rower, I'm not getting a calorie.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I was like, I saw that 1 extra calorie I squeezed out, paid off
good.
today.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
So
just real quick to finish that. So, because I hear that from people randomly at times, or like mainly when I was coaching, would be like, were you a gymnast or what did you play? And when I tell them, like, no, I was nothing close to that. I did nothing. Like, I played video games for my entire life, and I used to be fat. Everyone that didn't already know that or know, they're like, they think I'm lying, or they're just like shocked. It's just, it's 100% the truth, and just goes to show, how well-rounded you can be and what you can gain from a CrossFit program.
Yeah.
So
no, it's been really cool because I didn't know you right when you started, but somehow I can't remember when, but we connected pretty quickly. And it's just been awesome to see your whole evolution and being a part of it. The gym.
I appreciate that. And I think the reason why we connected, or how we even connected, was it always comes back to Alex, which is funny, but he had showed you 75 hard.
That's right.
And then you guys all started, I think, and then you guys may have already been done at that point, and then I hopped on and did it.
Yeah, because that was 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Because it did it, and yep, that is what it was. Good old 75 hard days. Classic. So, be a new dad. What's that sleep like, bro?
Oh, boy. If the parents are listening, don't hate me. It's been great.
I was gonna ask that. You got one of those kids. He's well fed, so he sleeps good.
Right. Yeah, he's eating good, man. He's eating good. There's some statistics, I guess, that go with that. Like the bigger, heavier babies, they sleep better because they're more full, or they don't. I don't know exactly what it means or what happens, but he has always slept very well.
It's awesome,
which is incredible.
I hate you for it.
But I figured.
I'm very happy for you.
I appreciate that. Because I just hear the horror stories, and I'm like I'm talking to other new parents, and they're asking that question too. It's just kind of like a common thing, and I think it's because your parents are trying, or you as parents are trying to find like a common ground because
Yep.
you expect them to say shitty
Mhm.
or whatever it is. Like, oh, me too. They'll ask me that, and I'm like, fuck, I'm sorry, but like, it's been great. And they're like, I can't relate.
8 hours a night.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, dude, like, she just won't stop crying. Like, that's them saying, I'm like, I can't relate. I'm sorry.
I mean,
So,
Claire was, she is, oh, I love that child to death. But, I mean, she didn't sleep good to age 4.
dang.
Like, it was constant. I mean, me and Cassie back and forth, in and out of the room. Like, dude, I mean, you probably remember me in some of those days. Just constant grind. And then when Jackson came around, I was just like, I ain't doing that shit again. So Cassie let me do the cry it out deal with him. She had to put earplugs in, go sleep on the couch because she couldn't take it. And after like 4 days, he started sleeping pretty good. And now at this juncture, I mean, he's 7, she's 9. I mean, little homie's in my bed every night. Like it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just come to, it's not going to be forever. And when it stops, you're going to miss it kind of mindset. And Claire, she sleeps in her own bed now. I mean, she's 9, so she does pretty darn good. But no, sleep finally happening on a consistent level. And I want to say it didn't really start till about 2-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's kind of a pretty common story,
Yeah.
at least at some level. Of course, he has his moments, but I mean, he's only 7 months, so I can't say like, oh, it was the first couple years or the first couple months. It's just like a kind of a
In
day
general,
by day.
he's doing awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So that's great because that's definitely a big contributing factor to success, if you will, in the gym or like fitness in the gym and being able to compete or do better in the workouts. If I wasn't sleeping as well, I'm sure my performance wouldn't be as good.
Yeah.
I'd still be here, but it would just be a little bit more lacking. So
No, I mean, there's no question. Sleep is the number one anabolic thing you can do for your body when it comes to recovery and performance.
Mhm.
There's literally nothing better for you than quality sleep. And it's something, I'm still to this day, I mean, I average about 7 hours a night, which does pretty good, but it's still something that I'm like heavily focused on. Like I recently, and this week, I'm making a pretty significant increase in my magnesium consumption and tracking it with Whoop and whatnot, just to try to level up that sleep to the next level. Pretty much alcohol free again. Like I'll have the occasional drink, and I'm not like I was back 75 hard days and whatnot, but just because of how negatively it influences your sleep. And it's just not something I'm as willing to sacrifice now that I'm starting to get it again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you start to feel good,
Mhm.
and then you know what feeling good feels like, and then you're like, well, I could go down this path and not feel good for 2-3 days,
Mhm.
and then you got to start the process over. They say, I'm gonna butcher it, but there's a saying that's basically like, drinking today is just borrowing happiness from tomorrow.
Yeah. So much truth to that in many ways. Mental health, sleep, physical recovery. Anxiety is something that I tend to have to deal with, and I usually deal with it through training. It's one of my main tools. See, now May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, true.
On the flip side of that, I end up going down a path of beating the shit out of myself in the gym. And then if you add bad sleep on top of that, it becomes a recipe for disaster at a certain point. And I found, I like having drinks. I mean, me and you, I got you a nice bottle of whiskey when you told me you were moving to a new job. I enjoy having drinks with friends. Like I genuinely enjoy it. Open up a nice bottle, have some drinks. It is something I do find, communal, personal value out of. But on the flip side of that, you just say you borrowed from tomorrow. It doesn't matter. If I go over, like one drink is my limit. If I 2-3, my next day is not going to be as good no matter what. And it's pretty shocking because I remember, like, even when we first opened the gym, there'd be once or twice a week, 4 or 5 drinks. All the members want to go out and hang out, and like you end up going out with them. And as you know, you've been a part of some of these double-edged get-togethers. It's members' goal to mess up their coaches.
Yeah.
Come here, Derek, here's another shot. It's all fun and whatnot, but at the end of the day, there's there's zero health value in it outside of, social fun, like having fun with friends. And I do think there's value in that. But your point, like in the last 4 or 5 months, it just became less and less and less to where it's like, I might have my wife likes to have a drink when we're out fishing and stuff, whatnot, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer the casual drink here and there, a couple times a week. And it has paid dividends.
Yeah, totally. I find myself thinking about we may be doing something socially,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh man, a beer sounds really good right now, or Jack and Coke or something like
Yeah.
that. And then I'm like, okay, well, what are the outcomes going to be here? I can order a drink,
Yep.
and I can enjoy it, and then I'm probably going to want another one, and then another one
Yep.
after that, or whatever it may be. Or I can just order something else that I like that doesn't have to be alcohol related. I can just have a water.
Yeah.
And, we're only going to be at this function for 2 hours. So am I going to order one drink just because I want to have the one and then I'm going to want another one? So like, do I go down that path or like even like tempt it, or like we're going to be leaving soon anyway, and then that like craving or the feeling is going to be gone, that it's not that big of a deal. So then I'll go the other direction. Sometimes I'll choose that
Mm-hmm.
direction, but then, I will embrace it and know I will be paying for it later.
Yep.
Or whatever it may be. So the easier, it's kind of funny, the path of least resistance is actually the better choice.
Yeah.
In that one is just pick the easy or the boring one or whatever it may be. But your body and your mind and everything's going to be thankful for it later.
100%. 100%. And for me, having a drink, if we're going to have an alcoholic beverage, I like to have a good whiskey, or good tequila, something that's, is meaningful to me, my friend. Like, we've shared some good whiskeys together, and like that, I enjoy that. But just to go and order a drink at the bar, like, it's non-alcoholic these days. And I can tell you, the non-alcoholic beer, they have non-alcoholic White Claws now. Do you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yep. In the NA section at Rayleigh's.
Wow.
Yeah, and it tastes just like a White Claw. Non-alcoholic. I can't remember the last time I had a White Claw with the intention of getting drunk, right? It's just like, it's something refreshing on a warm day.
Yeah.
And it's like, there are so many, the non-alcoholic beers are tasting much and much better. I think Sam Adams has an IPA that's pretty darn good. Non-alcoholic. Like, I'll get home in the evenings, do some yard work or whatever, hang out with the kids, and you have an NA beer, and it still fills that, what do you want to say, habitual habit of like just having something refreshing in the evenings. Non-alcoholic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And generally, like, at least I don't know if that's for everybody or for you, but like when I drink something like a beer, I do like the taste of beer, but
Mhm.
generally, like, the goal to be having at least a drink is probably to get a little bit of a buzz.
Yep.
But one beer isn't going to get me buzzed. No. I don't know if 2 will, maybe 3, but like, I don't envision myself drinking 3 Coors Lights or whatever just to catch that buzz. So it's like, well, I'll have a beer or I'll have the non-alcoholic version to get the taste.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to drink 3
Yeah.
because, that gets rid of the whole purpose anyway, or like the buzz chase.
Yeah.
And I don't need to drink 3 to have the taste. So one's going to be fine. And why not just choose the non-alcoholic version? Because I'm not going to get buzzed off one either way. So why not go with the option that's healthier for you?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Less abrasive. And like, my purpose of having drinks is usually to knock off the anxiety or the stress of the day or whatever, right? It's like, that is the reason most people, I think, throw on a buzz. It's to loosen up. It's to relax. It's to chill out. And going down that road, the next day, my anxiety's higher. Slept like shit, anxiety increases. And then you repeat, do it again, sleep like shit, anxiety increases. And it's just like this snowball effect towards, honestly, alcoholism. And that's, just a couple drinks a day, technically, alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
And putting that in its bucket and replacing it with things that I enjoy, still refreshing and optimize my health, doesn't fuck up my sleep.
Exactly.
And we're on the same page there, pal. On the same page. So since all this change and everything, what kind of, what do you want to say, habits, lessons from, your life in fitness the last, 6 years has translated into your new job, into being a dad, self-discipline aspects, consistency, lack of immediate gratification. I mean, I think fitness in general teaches your ability for patience in a society that is driven by immediate gratification in all things. I mean, people don't even engage on social media for longer than 5 seconds. Like everything's like, we need it right now. And fitness is the complete opposite of that. What lessons have you think rolled over into all these new chapters of your life?
Yeah, I think a good one is that, the work has to be done no matter what. And no one's going to do it for you. There's nobody going to come save the day.
Yeah.
And whatever that means to you, if you're feeling like you're stuck in some regard, fitness, financially, mentally, relationships, whatever it may be, there's not someone that's going to come and save the day. You have control of whatever issue you are dealing with. And I think a big lesson there is like I need to go to the gym because no one's going to go to the gym for me, and I'm not going to just randomly keep everything that I've worked 6 years for. I've already lived the shitty life of woe is me. I got here because the path, this was the cards I was dealt, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Not taking responsibility for all my actions up until that point. Realizing that I'm not going to go back to that because I know where I am now, and compare that to where I was will never happen again. So I think a big lesson is, no one's going to do the work for you. You have to earn it. It's going to take time, right? Just like you said, fitness is one of those things that you need the reps in order to get to where you want to be. And, this is 6 years in the making. And granted, it's not 6 years to get to a certain spot. I would argue I'm probably the fittest I have ever been now because I'm more well-rounded.
Yeah.
I may not be fittest in the sense of like, back when I was coaching, I'm here for all day, obviously, but working out for 2 to 3 hours a day, that type of fitness.
Mm-hmm.
But I can do things that I couldn't do back then because of the time put in.
Yeah. I mean, you built
foundation. Exactly. Building the foundation, right? And so in summary, knowing that things are going to take time, whatever it may be, if it's not fitness, you don't just wake up and things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to build it up to that point. Fitness, your relationships, a business, your family, whatever it may be, you're going to have to put some time into it. And the more time you put into something, generally the better the outcome is going to be, or the stronger that foundation is going to be.
Yep.
So I put 6 years of building a foundation of health and fitness. I try to then transfer that over to anything else that I do, right? So I have a marriage now. I have a son now. That didn't happen over a day.
Mm-hmm.
It happened over, me and Lindsay started dating in 2021. We got married in 2023, so a year and a half or whatever it may be. But, we took the steps necessary to get to that point. It takes time.
Yep.
We have a son now. He's going to be around for my whole life, right? That's going to take time. I work for the company I work for. I plan on being there for however long time till the ship goes down or whatever it may be. That's going to take time. Obviously, I'm getting repetitive here, but basically the whole summary that I'm trying to say is like, good shit takes time. And in order to build something successful, have something good that you want in your life, it's not just going to happen randomly or tomorrow, right? Everything was laid up to this point. Here I am today. Here you are today. This took, Double Edge has been around for 11 years now. 11 years now. And that didn't just happen because of
9 years of
randomness.
groundwork before that.
Right, exactly.
Lots of setbacks, lots of punch in the face, and you got to wake up, get the reps in.
Do it all over again.
Get the reps in. Fitness just translates to so many things in life outside of fitness. It just, because of the monotony, because of the effort. As I saw this meme or quote this guy put out a couple weeks ago, it's like the flex nowadays in your 40s and 50s is your health. If you're fit, healthy, capable 40 or 50-year-old person, like that's the flex, not the big house, not the expensive car, not, this, that. It's like if you have your health at this age, and because that takes work, that takes consistency, that takes saying no to a lot of things that is very socially acceptable now. In our society, it is very socially acceptable to be unhealthy. Saw this other statistic that the average man in our country can't run a mile without stopping.
Wow.
Yeah, a mile. Can't do 10 push-ups. The average man in our country can't do 10 push-ups. Like, that just blows my mind. But we do, unfortunately, live in a culture where that is socially acceptable. So to break away from that, we are the outcast now. And the work ethic that is required to maintain your health in the gym, I've never seen a person take care of their health and not excel in other areas, if not every single area of their life. Now, yes, if you're spending 4 or 5 hours a day in the gym training and, you're neglecting your job because of training, you're neglecting your spouse and your kids, like, hey, I'm not going to your soccer game because I got to work out. Like, obviously, these places have their bucket, but even me being a gym rat, I work out an hour to an hour, 20 minutes a day. I mean, you work out, what, an hour?
Hour a day. Class. Just group class every day.
Yeah, so it's like, to be a extraordinarily fit human being, it takes a daily, consistent dose of self-discipline for a long period of time. And those habits built in that, like I said, I haven't seen anybody who takes care of their health and fitness. They're typically striving very well in all aspects of their life, professionally, personally. And I see it just translates.
Yeah, well, and it's a good thing to always reference back to. We say the word reps. You need the reps.
Mm-hmm.
Repetition, right, is, that's short for, or reps is short for repetition. Generally, that means you're doing like the same thing over and over again. Well, we talk about it in sales industry all the time, like, but it applies to everything, but it's a big thing. Like, you're going to suck at something until you get the reps in.
Yep.
And you just have to do it over and over and over again. When you first walk into a gym, you're probably going to suck at whatever lift you're doing, whatever movement you're doing, until you do it. When you start a new job, you're probably going to suck at it. When you start podcasting, you're probably going to suck at it. Whatever it may be, till you get the reps in.
And nobody goes into the first time of doing anything and do it well.
Mm-hmm. And if they did do it well, their well sucks compared to what their potential.
Yep, exactly.
Because if they can do it well, they're just natural at it, but that means their ceiling is so much more higher than somebody who didn't necessarily do it well the first time.
Yep.
Because they're just going to be great at it and they have a higher ceiling to reach.
And traditionally, looking at successful people, the people that weren't gifted, that had to put in the reps, end up being more successful.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the people that are gifted, the second it gets hard, typically give up. And they hit a personal, what do you want to say, ceiling, whereas the people that weren't gifted and have to keep coming back, putting their nose to the grindstone. So at a certain point, they break through. And Alex Hormozi talks about that a lot.
Yeah.
It's like putting in the reps. Keep doing it. So that's awesome, man. Love it. So obviously you're still in the CrossFit, but you're slaying something that I'm not very good at, nor do I like. You're slaying running. And you've...
Define slaying.
What was your 2-mile time?
12:50 something.
Yeah,
or the other.
So you're 6:30 miles. This is just somebody that does group class. Now you're added in running because you have a new running goal to accomplish. You just did pretty damn good in your first half marathon. And talk to us. Tell me a little bit about where this goal came from, why you're taking up running right now as I guess just a focus for a moment.
Sure. Yeah. So I'll say I haven't taken up running or made it a new goal per se.
They didn't quit CrossFit to run.
Yeah, not at all. And in that same regard, I didn't start running more to get better at running or to do the half marathon thing. It all just kind of happened randomly. I've always enjoyed running, and I don't know if enjoyed is even the right term, but I've known
can't put those
I've
two
known
in the
that
same sentence.
True. When I run, I feel like kind of comfortable, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm not like, this fucking sucks. I hate this until I did the half marathon or until I did the 2 mile for time. That's the first 2 times I felt that way.
Yeah, but those were maximal efforts.
Correct.
I don't care what you're doing, even if you enjoy it. I'm really good at biking and I enjoy it, but let me tell you, that 5-minute test was awful. And I have zero desire. I don't even know if I'm going to do it in 3 months.
It was awful for me. And you did 40 more calories than I did. But anywho, backing up to that was honestly, it was just because we started running a little bit more in group class. And I've always, like I said, I'm pretty comfortable when we run or when I run, whatever it may be. And you know me, whenever something comes along that sounds like a fun challenge or a cool challenge or somebody asks me to do it, it doesn't even have to be like, you don't really have to sell me on it. You just ask me to do this. And if it's like, sure, I send it, go full send, all in. And we started running more in class. And I don't remember I think the first thing was the 2 mile run, but it was kind of like a hand in hand thing. So Rachel, Lindsay's mom, was doing the 10K for the Reno's biggest little half. They have a 5K, 10K or half marathon. Her and Travis, so Lindsay's parents were going to do, Rachel was going to do the 10K, Travis was going to do the 5K. We went over there one night and they were talking about doing it. And I was like, oh, what else do they have in there? I've already done a 5K, did the turkey trot 2 or 3 times. Also, that was on a whim. Talk about that in a sec. And so I've already done a 5K. Don't want to do another 5K. Don't care about that. 10K, my mind's like, it's just a little bit longer. If I can do a 5K at this pace, like I wanted to go full send, but not like complete full send because I'm not that stupid. If there was a marathon, like it would have been tempting, but I know that I shouldn't do that. Yeah. And I've ran like 10 to 11 miles, maybe once or twice actually during COVID. So I was like, I have the capacity now to run 13.1 for a half marathon. She said, yeah, there's a half marathon. I was like, well, why don't we all do it as a family? Like I'm in. Lindsay hates running, but I was like, well, we're all doing something. You got to do this. So she did got her into the 5K. So we have Travis and Lindsay doing the 5K, Rachel doing the 10K, me signing up for the half. It was like this whole family like affair. It was really cool. So we signed up. This is like back in February. 5K was in April, a half marathon was in April. So I had like 2 months to train. Well, not little. I mean, I talked about it, but on my post, I didn't train for it. I ran maybe 5 times up to it. I didn't have proper running shoes. I'm running in Fronings, my Nanos.
You're running in Nanos?
Yeah.
Oh.
Running in Nanos. Longest run I did was 8 mile. I did an 8 miler in my Nanos just around the neighborhood. And it was one of these things like I was like, I should probably start running a little bit more. Like I've got a good foundation with CrossFit. I could probably just do the half marathon on a whim, but where's my goal going to be? And if I just hopped into it, I knew I'd let myself down because I have certain metrics that I wanted to hit. Yeah. So anywho, ran 8 miles in Fronings. I shit you not, I barely could walk the next 2 days. My knees were all messed up. Ankles were very swollen, blisters on my heels. So I didn't have proper running shoes. Lindsay's parents saved the day. They bought me a pair of Hoka Mach 2s. Those changed my life with running. But anywho, the whole point of what I'm getting at is, and fast forwarding is, I didn't really train running. Yeah. While that's happening, I ran that 8 miles. I did 5 miles on the assault runner right here. And I was like,
that's a grind in itself.
Yeah, grind. And I was like, so in my mind, I was basically trying to like see where my capacity was going to be. I was like, if I can do 8 miles and not running shoes, if I can do 5 miles on the assault runner, I could probably do 13.1 miles and be like, fine. So I ran a couple times here and there. And then while that's happening, we did like the 2 mile test within the next couple weeks. I was like, well, I'm signed up for the half marathon. Yeah, this is a 2 mile for time. So it's a full out send, but I'm all about full out sending it. And I knew that I had run a 1 mile for time at 6:35 or something back in when I first started CrossFit, actually in 2019. So I was like, let's just see what happens. Let's see if I can mirror that for a second mile. So nervous as shit. There was like 4 of us in class that day. And I chose to do laps, which was a mistake in hindsight because it was so bad. And I was in such pain. I think I did my first mile in like 6:20 or something like that. And Chase is out there tracking. I have it on my watch, but obviously not everyone had to watch, but he's like watching my time and giving me pace updates. He's like, all right, 125, good job, first lap or whatever, you know, and then 250 or whatever it is. I think so I got 3 laps in. I'm like, this fucking sucks. I'm going to quit. But then that happens to me all the time in workouts. I'm like, why am I here? This is terrible. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not coming back. 3 laps in, but I'm like, I'm done. I'm just going to do a mile and I'm going to tell Chase I'm done. But then I'm like, oh, wait, if I do that, he knows that I just gave up and I quit. And he's going to be like, why? And I have to come up with some excuse or just like, well, I failed. I'm not going to tell him that. And he's like cheering me on. And then so I do my mile and he's like, you know, 6:30 or whatever it was, 6:25. And I'm like, well, I'm committed now. Hopefully I can hang on to this pace. Did it, finished it. And it was terrible. So there's that. And then, so I was like, well, I did that. Goal accomplished. My goal was to be under 13 because I could do a 6:30 mile. So let's see if I can keep 6:30 twice or a little bit faster. Half marathon comes around. Didn't run anymore up until that point. So I think I ran 5 times here and there. The 2 mile being one of the runs, the 8 mile, the 5 mile on the assault runner. I did another 2 miles on the assault runner at South, maybe 4 or 5. And I knew that an 8 mile pace is like easy for me. I don't know about it for 13.1 miles because I never ran that long in that pace. But like when we do Murph, like I'm somewhere in the 8:30s with a vest after doing 100, 200, 300. I'm like, I could probably hold an 8. But I'm like, also I think that's too slow for me. I feel like I could, if I did that, I like might let myself down. So my goal in my head was under 1:45, which is just under 8-minute mile pace. But I was like, wow, let's see if I can push a little bit. So half marathon comes up 2 Saturdays ago. Weather was terrible. You know, you did the tactical games in it.
Weather sucked.
I'm sure I was 10 times more awful for you and Wes because you guys are in the mud and shit. At least it was just rain, but you know, snowing, and obviously you know,
snow and ice.
Dude.
There's like sideways ice coming in.
Awful. But I'm like, well, I'm not quitting, or I'm not going to not do it. We're here, and I'm not going to also use the excuse like, oh, well, if it was sunny, I'm gonna use, like, if I don't run my pace, it's because it was raining or because it was wet. I was like, nah, that's not who I am. So I just sent it, and 3, 2, 1, go. Put my headphones in, start running, get through like the whole pack because, I mean, that thing was sold out, which I guess was kind of unheard of, at least for that half marathon, because there were people that like were trying to get last minute tickets and it's like, oh, we're sold out. There was like 700 people signed up for just the half alone, and then a couple hundred here and there for the 5K, 10K. So I get through the pack, I look down at my watch. It's like 8:30. I'm like, okay, well, it's got to catch up a little bit because I started off slow. And then I'm like hovering around to 7:45, 7:50. I'm like, all right, well, this feels pretty good. So let's just see what happens. Mile 2, mile 3, mile 4, mile 5, still around that same pace. And then I hit mile halfway. So we went down Iowa all the way to Mayberry Park.
Yep.
In the
Patagonia building and everything.
Yeah, right there. The warehouses is the word I was looking for. That's like the halfway. Turned around. I'm like, well, I'm halfway. I kept this pace. That's when it set in though. I was like, this sucks. This is hard now. And I'm like, I have to do this again, or I have to, mirror my efforts up until this point. But you just one foot in front of the other, and there's like this something monotonous and mental grind that I've learned about running through that is that it's just like, the first couple miles aren't so bad. Like, well, the first mile or two suck because your heart rate's going basically from, 0 to 100. Like, and what I mean by that is 80 to 180, right? Then you settle in first, and then so mile 2 through 6 is like pretty comfortable because like you're kind of accustomed to it and you're settled in. But then miles like 6 through 9 suck because that's like the effort, the pain, because then you're almost done. Like, and there's some leeway here and there, but basically I was like, suck, not too bad, suck, you're done. Almost like, like a 3-round workout. First round, you're fresh. Second round's terrible. Third round, you're almost done. Same type of deal. So anywho, I just kept on running, and I'm like, well, if I'm running a 7:45 pace, like at least that means the next mile is only going to be 7 minutes and 45 seconds long. That's pretty quick. Like that's 3 songs or whatever it is. And so if you can like just trick yourself and trick your mind into things like that, or catch yourself being distracted looking at something, and you're like, oh, 40 seconds went by because I was looking at that tree, or like you're watching someone in front of you, whatever it may be, you just trick your mind and be like, this sucks, but we're going to get it done. And before I knew it, I was like at mile 11, and I'm like, oh, and my watch died too. So I lost my pace, but there was this lady in front of me, and we were like pretty much the same. And I was like, well, as long as I just keep her within this same distance, like I don't think she's going to slow up. watch diets. I was like, well, I just got to send it now. So then I like, oh, I'm almost done. So I sent it. I passed her. And then I think my last mile and a half was like a 7:20, but finished, and then I beat my goal. So I crossed the line. It's like hour 41, and I was like, awesome. So I didn't know my pace up until that point. I knew it was like around the 7:50, 7:45, 7:50, but I was like, as long as I just keep it here, we're good. And then I was like, well, I did better than the 8-minute pace, and I felt accomplished. So,
bro, you crushed it.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
just curious, what was your fueling like in the morning?
So a couple years ago, Code would say nothing, or like a C4. I'm a little bit smarter than that now. I still like my C4s, but it wasn't anything crazy. I had English muffin with peanut butter, some grapes, and a protein bar.
So in that first hour, you probably went through close to 100 grams of carbohydrate.
Okay.
So different day, different topic. I actually had to meet with Alyssa about this, but proper fueling and training your body for fueling for these over 1 hour events, it actually does matter. So like when you brought up around 6, 7, 8, where you start kind of, you get punched in the face, it gets shitty. But that's where some of like the goos and the honey things, quick absorbing carbohydrates, kind of like 30 minutes. And you obviously do this in training first. You don't want the first day you consume these things, you shit your pants while you're running. But really in these endurance events that are going an hour and beyond, we're going to burn through our stored glycogen. And if we're not replenishing that proactively, you get punched in the face. So basically, your last 4 miles was just pure willpower. The fact that you're able to pick up pace in such a caloric deficit at that point, your liver's not converting glucose fast enough. So you're like literally living off lactate and willpower.
Yeah, that was built here.
That's badass. I mean, it is. It's not the healthiest way to necessarily compete and train, but it builds the mental muscle, and it exposes what your body and mind are truly capable of. Because a lot of times, most people in society, like they have no clue what their body is physically capable of. Because your couple grapes and English muffin, you don't have enough stored glycogen, and your liver's not gonna convert fatty acids into glucose fast enough. That was pure willpower. Yeah,
and I didn't want to overdo it, so I didn't eat too much. But I also was like, I can't have nothing.
No, you have to have something, and that's where carb loading strategically up to an event. And this is all stuff. Like I said, you do not do this your first event. You need to do this in training. On your 8-mile runs, you start playing with carbohydrate intake, and 100's a generic number, but it could be anywhere from 60 grams to 100 grams, depending on body size and this and that. And then what your training threshold is up to that point. Some people are running 7-minute miles at a 140 heart rate. That's a hell of a lot different than me at a 7-minute mile, which is a 185 heart rate. Different training capacities, your ability, your metabolic flexibility, if you will, when it comes to metabolizing free fatty acids and all these things. But if you have the inclination to grow in these ultra endurance events, we can sit down and chat about the fueling side of these, and because you're good at it. Like you said, running, it's not a burden to you, if you will, and you're good at it. Like obviously, you pulled this out with minimal training and just basic CrossFit foundation fitness, right? And it's awesome. So if you do get the itch, there are things there that we could tinker with when it comes to fueling that would probably shave more time off that. But on the flip side of that, doing it properly, it makes the next day not as awful.
For sure.
But that's badass.
Thank you. Part of me says like I'm a one and doneer, like I did something hard. But the other part of me is like, well, I've tasted a 13.1. What's a 26 taste like, And
then what's a 50?
Right.
And what's a Goggins 100?
It's like, fuck, do I want to go down that path? I don't know, because I was pretty miserable. Granted, like I didn't train, like we're saying, so
it's
proper
cool
training would have helped.
But what you're capable of with just an hour a day of fitness.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was going to get to is just, that it just speaks to what a testament a CrossFit program is. And Double Edge Fitness is the one I go off of because here I am. And I'm here for an hour a day doing the same stuff every normal member does. Now, I may have a different foundation built up because of the previous training, and I've been here for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But there's people who've been here longer than me, people who train here longer than me, whatever it is. And I didn't do anything extra other than those couple runs.
Yeah. I mean, that's what appeals to me about this lifestyle of training is it makes you generally physically prepared to do a lot of things. Pick up heavy things, move somewhere fast, like sign up for half marathon with minimal training and not just complete it, right? There's a lot of people that go out to these events and just complete it, check the box. You performed. And that's what, I tell people, like my fitness identity is being slightly above average at a lot of things. You want to go on a hike? Cool. You want to suffer for 24 hours? Cool. You need, you need to pick up this heavy thing and move it from there to there? Cool. Like just general physical capacity to do a lot of things and not be scared of life because you may or may not be fit enough. Like you want to go snowboard in 2 days? Cool. We want to snowshoe top of this mountain and snowboard down? Cool. Like to be able to wake up with a work capacity to be able to go and enjoy all these other things. And I think outside of obviously great metabolic health and you're, preventing cancer and, type 2 diabetes and all these other things that come with, great fitness, it is that ability to do things, playing with your kids, like playing soccer at Jackson's, little soccer practices. Like a lot of people my age and younger struggle doing that stuff. Like it's very sad.
Yeah.
And, it's just cool to see your general physical preparedness translated. Took your natural ability to running. You do have some natural ability there, no question. And crush that. That's freaking awesome. So I just got some running shoes too. God.
Nice.
They're so ugly now.
Yeah.
They're all thick. But I use
really bouncy.
I used AI because every time I go and I haven't been into one in a minute, but last time I went kind of look for running shoes. So my cousin, I come from a family of runners. I don't know if you knew that. Diehard runners. My aunts, they grew up running very competitively nationally, and my mom. So I come from a household culture of like, if you don't run, it's impossible for you to be fit.
That's ironic knowing Jacob.
And me to a degree. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
I get its purpose. I think it is natural for the human body. I'm not one of those like running's unhealthy. Running wrong is unhealthy. But it's not something like running was a tool for me to condition for wrestling. But prior to me finding wrestling, like my family, it was like they tried to get me to do cross country and track and this and that. And I fucking hated it. Did not enjoy it at all. I can't remember one single time in my life where I went running and was like, that was great. That was a great run today. I really enjoyed that. No. Like I like it being a part of a physical fitness program. But in my mind, it's like, okay, this is helping me do better at these other things. But because I'm doing the RTO and whatnot, I haven't really been in the running shoe market. I run in CrossFit shoes when we do our running like you do. I haven't done 8 miles in a really long time. Last time I got a hair up my ass to train for a marathon because it's, I don't know, one of those checkbox things maybe.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to my heart a whole lot outside of the fact that I hate running so much. I feel like I need to face that. But anyway, started trying to look around at all the new running shoes people are wearing, this and that. So I used AI. I put in my weight, my muscle, my body fat percentage, how much I train. I put in my strength metrics. I described how I don't like running, what's uncomfortable when I run, like my back. It lights me up just as much as like, honestly, running lights up my back more than long endurance rowing. And it's probably also has to do with I row more than that. But those of you guys that don't know, I have disc problems at L5, S1, L4, L5. And I've had those for quite a few years. So when I do run, it's something that's like, even that 2-mile test, it was like 2 days later, like I still was feeling my spine. Running with the weight vest smokes me. Mm-hmm. And so I put all this stuff into AI and, all right, what running shoes should I get? And it suggested the Ultra Odyssey 2s pull these things up, man.
Yeah.
They're like, they look massive. They get delivered today.
Oh shit, you know how? Yeah, okay.
So it's going to be interesting because you got the Hokas and you said it was completely obviously different than running in nanos, which I have to imagine. So I'm hoping I have kind of that euphoric moment to where when I do my 15-minute jog this afternoon, it's like, oh, this is much better.
I think it will. Because I never really like believed in them. I was like, I mean, like, yeah, they make them, they're lighter, they're more comfortable, whatever it is. But it's like, how much different can it be? And then I did it. Yeah. I did a 5K when I first got those. Oh, that would have been my 5th run. So, I did a 5K when I first got the shoes just to try them out. And I increased I did a casual 5K around the neighborhood at like 7:30.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, wow. Well, like, I'm sure I had the capacity and the fitness to do this, but this wouldn't have been possible with the shoes I was in just because of the pain going through.
Yeah. And I think, because, my knees, my hips, my back starts bothering me. And like, I've done the pose running. So I'm actually, to some people's surprise, I'm actually a certified pose running coach. Like, I get the mechanics, and no, granted, I can't sit here and say I put in the work on the drills and the mechanics, but in my mind, like, I feel like I'm not reaching and heel striking and doing these traditional running errors that would cause these pains. I mean, to me, I think it's because I don't run very often, my joints just aren't used to it. And I think there is an element to that. Like, you need to put in miles to get your joints acclimated. You know, my joints are very acclimated to what we do in class, but don't run a lot. You got to put in the reps. So I'm going to be giving these a try today.
Right on.
You're going to give them a try.
I think they'll change.
I don't think it'll make me fall in love with running, but I do get, what do you want to say, discouraged or frustrated with myself is running and wall walks, handstand walking are the 3 biggest holes in my general physical preparedness identity of being slightly above average at everything. Those are 3 lagging holes that, out of my fun for fitness, do want to improve upon. So,
well, this will knock out one of those holes for sure.
Yeah, we'll give it a whirl. We'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
So, bud, gone over a lot here. What do you think? What time you got to get back to work? Real quick.
No, I'm good. We got time. I was just looking at what time it was.
I know. I appreciate you coming in midday, though, because I do know you have a job. Lucky you lurk right behind us. But
yeah, I got time, though.
What do you think of CrossFit these days as far as the sport of CrossFit?
Like the competitive part?
Yep.
I think it's gone a lot of different directions. Well, I know it's gone a lot of different directions. I'm a little bit torn on it. I mean, I'll always back it, and I will always believe in it. I love it. It's changed my life. Yeah. But as far as like the CrossFit games and like the competitive aspect of it, it's like, I think it's just weird, the different directions. And now you have like the WFP, World Fitness Project, that's like coming in to like try to like take some of the crowd share type deal. Mm-hmm. And so now we have like 2 competing aspects, which I think is good, right? Like you don't have like necessarily a monopoly of CrossFit or whatever it is. Now you kind of have another avenue. I guess High Rocks would be like another thing that people could argue like, oh, you have this taking the market share or whatever, but like nothing will ever replace CrossFit, right? CrossFit was or is successful because of the results of that it produces within the community. Mm-hmm. And we are all walking embodiments of that.
Yep.
And so while you have High Rocks, you have the WFP. Well, what do those all have in common with CrossFit? Well, they're stealing or borrowing CrossFit-based movements, right? Like you're doing a High Rocks it's like CrossFit with a lot of running, but you're doing wall balls, it's a CrossFit movement.
Sled push. I mean, CrossFit is all encompassing in work capacity.
Right.
Right. It's just CrossFit is the name that Greg Glassman, what do you want to say, trademarked to describe work capacity of broad domains of fitness, being a well-rounded, healthy, capable human being. So in theory, right, whether it be High Rocks, World Fitness Project, these are all just tests of fitness, if you will. Mm-hmm. But CrossFit at its core started to get rid of metabolic disease.
Yep.
And in that process of testing and having benchmarks and tracking growth, by nature, it became competitive, which turned into a bunch of CrossFitters thrown down at a random ranch in California where it first started for fun. And then it grew into a more competitive, I guess, sport-like element where a lot of people in society, they don't get this, but there's two identities to the same word. There's CrossFit and health, physical preparedness, being healthy, being fit, and just feeling good as a human being. And then there's what had come now is the sport of competing at fitness. And it's two completely different things, although there's overlap in movements, but it's, and I'll let you finish, but that's where I feel that there's the big divides coming right now, and it needs, CrossFit needs an identity that is not sport, that is health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a lot of it, stems back to just like all the different changes with CrossFit, like Glassman stepping down, or he's basically not there anymore, and then you have all the different CEOs or whatever they are of the games, the committee. Castro gets fired, gets rehired.
Yep.
Like I don't think they even know what their identity is. If you ask them what their aim is, they're going to say, well, we're going to crown the fittest man and the fittest woman. But other than that, it's like, okay, what does that mean for affiliates or general everyday users?
Yep.
They probably don't have a straight answer. They might come up with something. But that being said, I think the sport part of it is a good thing. And I think it's necessary to have at least some component of it, because without that, at least speaking for myself, without some sort of competitive aspect, I wouldn't be as fit as I am now, right? Leaderboard creates intensity. We all know that. And intensity is good. Some more times than not, it's probably good. But like without the intensity, am I going to be trying as hard as I am to beat you yesterday? Like one rep. If I didn't know your score, if like we didn't have scores, really easy to just go into that workout. Yeah, you still push, still create intensity, but you don't have a goal to shoot for or whatever it may be.
Yep.
And then you don't have anywhere to log it to then, and logging it is, there's two different ways or you're getting two things from logging it. One, you're logging it for your own good or whatever it is to reference, but you're also like kind of showing everybody where you were.
Yeah.
And I take pride in logging it to see where I was, but also to show how well I did for that day or how bad I did for that day. And that's a rule that I have, is you have to post your score no matter what. Like, even if it was shitty or really good. But so anyway, without like the leaderboard and not showing that, it's really easy to come in and sandbag it a bit more. So I think you do need some competitive edge to it, competitive aspect, and have the sport. But, that also depends on the user. Yep. Not everybody cares about snatching this heavy weights. Not everybody cares about running 2 miles for time. Then that's totally fine. But without and you don't even have to log your score. Maybe you just don't care, but like you should like have a little bit of care in your own regard. Yep. That way you are getting your max intensity that your potential is like allowing you to get. Yeah, what you're capable of.
At the end of the day, results aren't going to happen without progressive overload. Right? So if you're not progressing, that's where CrossFit has the benchmarks, has the metrics. That's why we do track and log scores and test workouts and, beyond 1 rep maxes. 1 rep max has been a part of training forever, and periodization principles are built off of, percentage training and stuff, built off of what's your best effort, back off, build up training and capacity, retest, improve, back off. And it's just like this undulating scale that keeps building over time. And, CrossFit took that and applied it to metabolic conditioning. We're going to time these workouts, this work capacity, and we're going to retest it. And you get fitter, and you get fitter, and you get fitter. And in doing that, you get fitter, right? If you don't test it, you don't have a benchmark to test against. Progress is then driven by basically, I guess, emotion, which subjective feelings, you're not always going to progress off of feelings. You need hard data. And that's where CrossFit excels at, because intensity drives results. And oftentimes, and there's people, I value a lot of what Marcus Philly says in the fitness space. I do, but he also goes hard on CrossFit breaking your body. And I get where it resonates from, but the wrong person not understanding the lens of where he speaks from, being a games athlete, can misconstrue everyday training as it different from the competitive athlete side. And I will say that too much intensity is a bad thing. If every single day in the gym you're flopping around on the ground, not recovering into the next workout, that is a recipe for disaster. And but if you're never doing that, if you're never pushing intensities, you're never pushing your efforts, you're never going to really improve. And I can tell you right now, there's no way I would be as fit as I am without the community around me, because I feed off all you guys. And one of my big drivers to get the score in at the first time of the day is to set a standard for it to be beat. That not just set a low, like I give it a good effort every single. I've told you this. I don't full send every single day anymore because I simply don't recover from it. I could do in my 20s. Life's a little different now, but I give it a good effort every day. And I think you guys know when I do full send it. That bike test was one of them.
We know.
But that took me 2 days to feel normal from again. So yeah, I think CrossFit as a whole is still the best. And this is always, through the lens of the gym owner, the guy that owns a CrossFit gym, blah, 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 blah. Take it for what you will. Believe me or don't believe me, audience. But if I truly, in my heart, didn't believe it was the best way to achieve health, wellness, and optimal performance, because all those things go hand in hand, I would change I would train differently. Like my purpose in training now isn't to compete at fitness anymore. It's to compete at being the best version of myself and the healthiest version of myself. So I find that still to be the best way, and getting out there, getting after it with people, it works.
Yeah, for sure. And, we follow a well-rounded CrossFit program. You're going to get a well-balanced person.
Yep.
Well-rounded person. Yeah, they're going to maybe be better at something and worse at some things. But just like you said, and just like what CrossFit believes in, we're not going to be exceptional at one thing. We're going to be pretty good, decent at everything. Yep. At least that's the goal.
And I think you brought up High Rocks and these other events. Like, a High Rocks athlete only isn't going to go and win or compete at the CrossFit Games.
Right.
But it seems that the top CrossFit Games athletes are doing pretty damn good at the High Rocks and the Spartan races and various other those domains. So
and we're seeing the data that, Glassman and all the OG CrossFit founders talked about when, you have a hopper and you spin the hopper, ball pops out. It's all the different workouts.
Yep.
Ball pops out, Fran for time. You have 3 athletes. You have a power lifter, you have a marathon runner, and you have a CrossFitter. Fran pops out. Okay, well, let's rank who's going to win that. CrossFitter wins for sure. Toss up between the power lifter and the marathon runner. We'll say power lifter gets second because the barbell is too heavy for the the marathon runner. Okay, do that once. Next one, back squat max. Well, we know the marathon runner is not back squatting anything heavier than the power lifter and the CrossFitter. Kind of, power lifter probably wins that, but maybe you have an insane CrossFit strength, but probably not. So we'll say powerlifter gets first, CrossFitter gets second, marathon runner gets third. Out pops out 5K for time. Okay, well, we know the powerlifter is not winning that. And again, maybe it's a toss-up between the CrossFitter and the marathon runner on who gets first. We'll give it to the marathon runner because that's what they do. They get first, CrossFitter gets second, powerlifter gets third. Insert X workout here, power cleans and toes to bar. CrossFitter wins that. Toss up between the power lifter and marathon runner, right? You keep on doing this.
Yep.
And you see CrossFitter first and second consistently.
Yep.
Probably never a third. And even if there was, it's like a far and few between. I don't even, but you're always going to see first, third, or second, third between the marathon runner and the power lifter. And we're seeing that just like you bring up with High Rocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of those High Rocks athletes, Hunter McIntyre went to the CrossFit Games in, I don't remember.
He's gone first day.
Yep, first day he was gone. Super fit.
And he's basically, I don't even think he qualified. He's like invited.
It was an invite. Yeah. It was an invite thing to like promote it. Yeah. And then he lost wasn't in the cut line. Super fit, human in his domain, and nothing to take away from him. Obviously dominates High Rocks world. But then you throw him in the CrossFit setting, not so much, or the elite CrossFit. He'd come in and smoke us, I'm sure, or whatever it may be in some things. Right. So we're seeing that data now happen where maybe we never saw it before because these things didn't exist. Yep. So it's really cool to look back, and if the story of the hopper, like I'm saying, you're like, oh wow, this was like very profound.
Yep.
And now we're seeing it here 15, 20 years later, and like it makes sense on paper, but now we like have true evidence and true data that's like it's true.
Yep. No, and I still believe it's one of the best foundations for just general fitness for so many things. Sports. I mean, I'm in the camp that CrossFit doesn't necessarily make you more athletic. It gives you the foundation to go participate in sports to become more athletic.
Right.
It is a general strength and conditioning fitness program. At this juncture in my life, being 40, it's purely my tool for optimal physical health and wellness, my long-term longevity, if you will. And with that, having great strength, great aerobic and anaerobic capacity is going to lend its way towards being a badass 80-year-old. Provided I don't slip and break my neck in the shower or something like that,
that was inevitable if that's going to happen anyway.
Yeah,
right?
So
You're not going to be able
to... Can't live that way.
Exactly. If that was going to happen, that was going to happen. So
yeah, me seeing CrossFit as a business, being an affiliate owner and so forth, I do like the trajectory of CrossFit being very focused on society's health and fitness. And I still like seeing all the different sporting events in, CrossFit Games, World Fitness Project, and High Rocks, and whatever else is going to pop up. And what you're going to see, anything else that pops up is CrossFit athletes, or, they're going to go and participate in these things very well. And I still believe it builds one of the best foundations of fitness to go and do awesome other things.
100%. I mean, we talked about the half marathon that I did, right? Like, flip those roles. You have a marathon runner. These guys are running 5:30s. They're lapping me on the way, not lapping me, but they're coming back already past halfway, like when I'm at the mile 4, right? Mm-hmm. You tell them to sign up for a CrossFit competition. They're like, what? Why would I do that? That's not something I know how to do because they don't train that. Mm-hmm. But we run a little bit. We do all these other things. We can go do a half marathon.
Yep.
You can sign up for the RTO. You can do the tactical games.
Yep.
Whatever it may be, you can go do that thing. Yeah, you may not win or dominate, but like you're going to do fairly well for yourself and compete and have a good time.
Yep.
Because you trained all encompassing.
Yep.
And it's just fun. Like not only to be able to enter and do those things, but to come in and every day be unique, have variety to it. We're not doing a back and buys 4x4, blah, 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 blah type of thing. Totally fine to do that. But I don't know, I got bored of it.
I think that's like I said earlier when we were talking, it's the lack of boredom and always being able to improve some area of my fitness. It keeps it from getting bored. And the most successful fitness program for anybody is the one they stick to.
Right.
So if there's not consistency, it doesn't matter what fitness program you take, it's not going to be successful no matter what. And that's where I find the training style, the community, the coaching, all those things coming together, how we do it in the gym and many other affiliates do it, breeds success because it's fun to keep consistent. It's cliche, but it becomes the best hour of your day. And people just 11 years of double edge. I just see people that have been here 11 years still getting fitter, still doing cool things. Like, it's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, and they show up every day.
Mm-hmm.
The fittest people here are the ones that show up every day. Yeah, they may complain about the workout or like moan and complain, but they still do it.
And what's funny is the people that have been here the longest, honestly, at this juncture, complain about programming the least because they're walking testaments to it working.
Right.
Like it just like, I keep getting fitter. I keep getting healthier.
Something's happening.
I'm 10 years older and I'm doing, more cool stuff now than I was, 10 years ago. And, because they're consistent, and we try to evolve the programming and various coaches like with Chase and my brother, even myself at times, influencing programming in different directions that keep variety and, keep it fun. But at the end of the day, sticking to it. It's the people that have been here the longest, I will say, give me the least feedback on the programming, because it's like they've learned, they've seen it all. And like they just love it. They just do the work, I guess.
Right. That's it. You show up and do it. And I think that I've always known that or seen that, but coming from the coaching side of it and being here all day and training for the more competitive aspect of it, training 2-3 hours a day, going through these killer metcons, 2 or 3 lifting sessions, mobility, accessory, all well and good. But now that I just don't pursue that anymore, if I can still show up from 9 to 5 work day, have a hectic life, whatever it may be, just like normal people do, I can show up and I can work out for an hour and arguably be the fittest, most well-rounded athlete and human that I've ever been, even though I used to train that way.
Yep.
Like, what does that, what does that say? It just shows me like something's working here, and I just show up and do the work. I do class, and just like, everybody else that does. And it's kind of funny, like when I stopped caring about chasing certain numbers or goals or things like that, I like started achieving them more because I wasn't destroying my body in order to get to it, like doing these crazy back squat sessions or something to lift a certain back squat weight. You just follow 5x5 and you'll get there.
Well, I think, bringing up your earlier days in the training volume, I think that hits every early CrossFit coach. I'm an example of it. I can't think of a coach in the gym that's not an example of it, but once you get into it, all of a sudden more is better, right? You have time, more volume's better. You start doing these extra training sessions. I remember a period in my 30s when we first opened the gym, we're all training 3 hours a day. I'm way fitter now than I was back then.
Yeah.
And I think it has its place. It can for a period of time, for a training block. But at the end of the day, optimal volume and intensity that you can recover from and do another day, is over time is going to lead to much more profound results. And I think that's what you're feeling right now.
Oh, yeah.
You're recovering. You're able to put in a high quality workout every single day. You've gotten rid of junk training. And I think that's where the volume whores, if you will, out there, people that just, and I'm super guilty of volume. I like volume training. But at the end of the day, at a certain point, it becomes junk training and extremely counterproductive. This is the first year I'll prep for Murph without doing massive amounts of volume. And I don't know if I'm going to PR or not. Like, I have this goal in my mind. I'm going to tell you it's not probably going to happen, but 40-minute Murph at age 40, and my best is 45 minutes. I'd have to put more work on running to probably shave 4 minutes out of that. But this will be the first year that I've intentionally trained volume with rest versus just tons of reps. And I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. Mm-hmm. Like 2-3 times a week, I'll do max sets of push-ups. But like that one year when I PR'd my Murph, I did 10,000 push-ups 2 months before Murph in a month. So that's 333 push-ups every single day. You know what happened? I smoked my shoulder. I got to Murph, I was able to I did the push-ups better than I ever did, but it took me 4 or 5 months for my shoulder to feel normal again.
Yeah, but at what price, right?
Exactly. And at my age now with my kids and my life, I don't want to feel that kind of joint pain anymore. I don't want to, but I don't want to take a step. I don't want to give up my fitness, if you will. Mm-hmm. So it comes down to getting rid of junk volume, junk intensity, training smart. And honestly, what that came down to is, I do group class. I'm intentional with it. And the little accessory and extra stuff I sprinkle in, it's just very, very intentional. And if I need to rest, I need to rest.
Right. And that's just smart training. It's just different. Yeah. It's kind of funny. We all have the different lens now. We're all, maybe not all, but you start to adapt into the lens that you're talking about and having just a smarter outlook, better outlook, no more pointless junk training. Just to think that you're doing an extra hour means that you're going to get fitter, and that's probably going to put you backwards.
No, because when I hit that, after Murph that year in my shoulder, I had to back off so much just to not be in pain, and then you start going through this kind of depressive state where you're only training 2-3 times a week. I'll say in the last 2.5-3 years, the big difference is becoming a master of consistency, being able to train and do productive work more days of the week than not. Sometimes like Saturday, I think it was Saturday, I took full rest day. But at the end of the day, I'm able to put in quality work, 5 to 7 days per week that I'm actually recovering from. But I'm not spending a whole lot more than an hour per day training. Whereas back in the days, like you said, 3-hour sessions and this and that. It's like, fuck all that.
Yeah, and those 2 to 3 hours, you're probably just as productive in that hour because you're being smart with it, being intentional about it and having the intensity than is a 2 to 3 hour like half-ass session.
Yeah.
And it's probably about the same productivity in terms of fitness or gain, but at what price with the 2 to 3 hours are you putting yourself back?
Yep.
Or hurting yourself or whatever it may be. Like you bring up Murph. I did Murph strict last year, strict pull-ups for the first time on a whim. And it was just because like never done that before. And I'm tired of doing butterfly pull-ups with the vest, and then my shoulder, like I can't sleep. I sleep like this, and my arm is killing me. So then I have to find a different arm or like way to put my arm, or it's like switch sides. Like, oh well, this shoulder did the same thing. So I was like, well, let's just eliminate that completely.
Yep.
Let's go strict, do singles, and see what happens. And it was cool because I've never done it before, and it was a different type of hard, another challenge, shit that I just like to full send and try.
Yep.
And so anywho, the whole point of what I'm getting at is just being smart about it, but also like we did Cindy last week.
Yep.
And I sent the first mile goal. So my goal for this Murph, since we're talking about it, is to run a fast mile 1 and mile 2. So I did a 6:30 with a vest on for Cindy last week. Wait, did we have the vest on that?
Optional.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I had one on that. I don't remember if I put it on after.
Too.
Yeah, so I put it on. I was like, okay, I'm going to run a mile 6 as fast as I can. And then the goal is to see how fast I can get to work.
Yeah.
Or maybe that wasn't.
I feel like you were talking me about this.
I know. Okay, I'm messing up 2 different workouts. The 6:30 mile was no vest. Cindy was 10 minutes of running.
10 minutes of running.
That's what I'm messing it up. So I did still run with the vest. But anywho, whole point of what I'm getting at is that my goal for Murph this year is to still do it strict, but I'm going to run mile 1 and mile 2 very, very fast, or as fast as I can, see how fast I can get to work. And I did butterfly pull-ups. That's where I was going with this. I did butterfly pull-ups on Cindy last week for the first 2 or 3 rounds. And I'm like, this just isn't fun. So I'm like, I'm just going strict because I could already feel my shoulder not liking it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just not worth it for me.
Nope.
3 years ago, Code would have been like, don't be a bitch. Like, this is what we're doing today. And I would push through, and then I pay for it. Mm-hmm. Trying to sleep the next 2-3 days, my shoulder would just be achy as hell.
Yeah, not to mention potential causing long-term issues.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, it's funny. Your goal of like slaying the run. So when we did the 10 minutes, Cindy, my goal was to complete the mile in 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
First mile. Got it. I did on the air runner with the vest. And
that's awful. So
my goal was to EMOM the whole thing with the weight vest. And
which you did.
I did. That was gross.
Yeah, that's gross.
Second 10 minutes, barely got over a half mile.
Well, they say the air run is like 20% harder. So
that's why I've been training on it more.
Right.
Just so when I do hit the road, it's like feels a lot easier. Or in my brain it does, at least. And that's why I've been doing all the air bike workouts on Big Bertha on the Echo bike versus the assault bike. So if I do the retest again, hopefully there's a deviation there. So yeah, every air bike workout lately I've been doing on the Echo bike.
This is just an anecdotal or personal opinion, but I think, I know how most people say that the Echo bike is harder than the assault bike. I think it can be. I think doing long distances on the assault bike is harder. But sprinting on the Echo bike is harder. Like,
yeah.
A longer controlled effort on the Echo bike is easier than on the assault bike. And then sprinting on the assault bike versus sprinting on the Echo bike that's my own personal thought.
No, it's because I've been using it more these last month. I mean, for every single fan bike workout we do, my times and calories are pretty darn close to the same. It's that 27 to 30 mile an hour range that it's different there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I feel a little more fatigue in that particular deal. And then at the top end, like I can barely get the Echo bike over 40 miles an hour, whereas I can get the assault bike 43, 44 miles an hour. Who knows if that's a computer algorithm thing
Sure.
or whatnot. But it just feels more cumbersome to move, right? Because it's bigger. Like it just, there's just more mass there to move. And because people hate it, so by default, I'm doing it. And then hopefully come back to the assault bike, and it's just this little bike.
It's just like this little thing. I know, yeah. Like the Echo bike is like the Rolls Royce, like nice, comfy seat, smooth.
Yeah.
The Echo bike's a little bit like just like kind of feels rickety.
So that's my thought with the Air Runner, because I've been running on that more, and I run on the one that has no monitor just so I don't sit there and get pissed off how slow I'm going. But we'll see if strategy pays off. I was happy with my 2 mile time. I wanted to get under 14 minutes, but also at the end of the day, I don't put very much effort into running training. So to get just over 14 minutes. But again, I hurt for the next couple days.
Yeah.
So.
Not for long though. With extra miles.
And we'll get these fat shoes on.
Dude, they're going to change your life. They might change your life. They're going to change your running game, running life.
I'm curious. I am curious because I've heard that from a lot of people. And I haven't bought an actual pair of running shoes probably since the last RTO I did, which was sometime shortly after we opened the gym. Because when Claire was born, I stopped sleep. Going for a 24-hour event just did not appeal to me very, very much. So
yeah, for sure.
So this year, it conned me into it. And it's been in my back pocket to call you up. But then I was just like, I can't bitch out because I don't want to run. So we'll get after it. We'll see what happens.
You've done the RTO once?
5.
Oh, 5 times.
My 5th one.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. I'll never do Van 2 again. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Virginia City, you're trying to sleep. That van's finishing, having a Bloody Mary, and you got to just start grinding up that hill out of Virginia City again. So I've done Van 2 twice. I've done Van 1 twice. So this will be my...
Van 1 3 times. Yeah. Nice.
Yep. I've done it in small cars. I'll never do that again. I've done it with people I don't know. Never do that again. The fun part is, being with cool people and cool vibes and energy and, just having fun with your friends essentially for basically 36 hours straight.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, team talked me into getting back in it this year.
That was like my first dose of double edge, actually, now that we're talking about it. I started in January when I first signed up, and then next thing I know, I'm on the RTO team with Lindsey Boston and Ryan Hamill.
That's right. Yep. That wasn't the year we did the weight vest, was it?
You guys did. We didn't. That was, but because we weren't the double edge team, like there was just us three.
You're just on a team.
Yeah, but you guys all did the weight vest, or there was 2 double edge teams that did weight vest that year.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was all in. I just buy into shit I believe in. So I changed my name, CrossFit code. I was like, and I was doing CrossFit for 3 months, but bought like a bunch of double edge gear, had a double edge shirt, and I was like living by it. And I wanted everybody to know that I was coming from double edge. So I wore a double edge shirt while I was running. And everyone's like, "Oh, are you guys are you the weighted vest team?" Or I was like, "No. Like, that's not. I don't know who they are. I've just heard stories about them I just thought it was funny because they were all like, "Oh, double edge, you guys are wearing vests, huh? You guys are crazy." I'm like, "Not me. That's like the 2 other teams."
Yeah, that doesn't running the RTO, the weight vest does not appeal to me at all.
Yeah, me
this
neither.
juncture. I did get fabric plates for my vest for the tactical games. Bro, it's so much more comfortable.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, God. Like, you're doing pull-ups and it's not smacking you in the face. Like, it is so much more comfortable.
That's nice.
And that was like, Matt Chan brought that up. Like, one of his feedbacks from his first tactical games was like getting rid of the steel plates and just using these metal sand-filled ones, or these fabric sand-filled ones. So much more comfortable to breathe in.
Nice. That's comfortable, yeah.
So,
we were talking about the machines. I just thought about this. You see on, I think it's the Generation 1 Concept 2 rower, there was like a hack that you're just like cheating the computer, but there's something wrong with the computer that basically if you do one pull, you wait like 6 or 7 seconds, and then you do another pull, it confuses the computer. Your stroke rate goes up to like 99, and it kicks over like 2 or 3 calories. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, I just saw like a video about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it was so interesting.
There was one open that it was a big hoopla.
Oh, well, it happened again. Some guy that was in the open for this year had some insane score on the last workout, and rowing insane calories. And I just thought it was ironic and just thought it was funny. It's like, wow, these people are like doing anything to just cheat.
Oh yeah. Like the year handful of not members here, but people in CrossFit Open, they put like a whole bunch of 2.5 pound plates on the barbell to get it to weight. So the bar facing burpees, you didn't have to jump as high.
Oh, wow.
Like the weight was the same, but now it's only a half inch off the ground, just do the damn standards.
All the different angles.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we got Murph coming up and is a meaningful event for the CrossFit community as a whole. It's one of the very original hero workouts. And, I'm a big supporter of military first responders and come from a family of those and so forth. And it's always, it's a big deal. But every single year, there's so much hoopla over quality of reps. And every single year, I get anxious about it. Because what do you do?
I was just going to say, I was just going to ask you that.
Like
what do you
have
do?
both perspectives of coach and member. Like telling people to squat lower over and over and over, push up your, chest and thighs to the floor, lock out, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it's exhausting. But who was it? Somebody posted in the group chat, like, we should have a dedicated gold patch or T-shirt for those who video their MRFs and subject it to scrutiny for legitimacy of completing it correctly. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that would be solid, but also I don't know how many people would take up on it.
I know, setting up your tripod for, 35, 40-minute video of your reps. And it's the push-ups and air squats.
Right.
Like pull-ups, everybody follows the rules there. Running, obviously, you just have to do the work. But it's those push-ups and air squats.
I just think there's so much, what's the word, like interpretation on if it was a good push-up or a good air squat or not. Obviously, we know chest hits the floor, full lock out of the elbow, hip crease below the top of the knee, stand all the way up at the top, hips extend. Like that's the right way to do it. But it's like in people's minds, they think that they are hitting that. And it's like, okay, well, how much of their chest do they need to touch or how much of a lockout? Well, there's only one lockout. You can't like extra lockout.
Yeah.
You can't extra touch your chest. You could like go further.
Well, and then
So
the
I
people
think
that
that's
loosen
where-
up their vests and like
right.
the vest touches the ground.
Yeah, because it's just hanging off.
Yeah, it's hanging off 2 inches.
Far. So I think that's where like the interpretation comes in for the people that are riding the line. Like if you're just doing good reps, there's no line to ride. You just know it. But that's where it becomes uncomfortable as a coach is because we know that you are capable of doing the reps good.
Yeah.
And you're capable of doing the reps good because you just showed me that you could touch your chest to the floor and full lockout at the top, or because you squatted all the way hip crease below the top of the knee and you stood all the way up. You just showed me that because I made you demo it. I coached a Saturday 2-3 weeks ago. We were doing some Murph prep and I was like, all right, everyone, we are all going to sit in the bottom of an air squat for 15 seconds. I'm going to look around. And now if you have some mobility issues, that's fine. Like, okay, I'm not going to force you, but this is, and so we do it. Okay, guys, here's your squat that you are showing me you're capable of doing. Okay, now we're all going to hold a plank push-up. You're going to touch your chest. We're going to hold it there for a couple seconds. Okay, guys, here's where your push-up lies. Now, if you're on your knees, doesn't matter, same thing. You just showed me these good reps in this demo, in this warm-up. This is what I expect. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm killing it. Like 3, 2, 1, go. Cool, I did a good demo. We're going to do this. And it goes out the window. And
I call it 3, 2, 1 goes to shit.
Oh, it's insane, man. It's so true. But that's where it gets uncomfortable is because you just showed me that. Why are you now going to put your coach in that weird position to tell you to go lower or stand all the way up, whatever it is? It's not fun for the coach to do that.
Yeah.
Over and over again or whatever. Like, sure, we're here for that, but it's just like, it's not a fun spot to be in.
No, I mean, after many years of coaching people, it's like, I think Chase has a 3-strike rule. Like after 3, he's just like, you're going to do you. And it's useless to keep beating a dead horse. For me, when it comes to expression of full range of motion, it's a lot more than just get the rep. It's movement quality, maintaining mobility, stability through full range of motion for your long-term health. Like if you don't squat below parallel and practice below parallel, what happens if you slip and you catch yourself below parallel and you don't have strength and stability, for instance? Or you like skiing, you go skiing, but you don't train below parallel. You hit a mogul a little sideways, you go into full flexion and boom, there goes your ACL. You never train below parallel. It's like training the full range, strength, health, mobility, stability of your joint is long-term health. And if we're constantly training half ranges and not exploring strength and stability and full ranges, you're leaving so much of your fitness potential on the table and potential quality of life. That is how I think of it. Like these, and strength potential, like building strength, like training full range of motion of the joint is going to stretch the muscle to build strength. Like if you don't stretch a muscle, you can't grow a muscle. It's that simple. So, like, why wouldn't we strive for full range on all these things? Because one, it's going to be great for your mobility. It's going to build strength in a much higher capacity than doing half reps. And then, like, it's just doing it right, and I do know folks in class who have a hip issue or a knee issue or various shoulder things, can't get full range and this and that. I'm very much okay, but I also know a bulk of people that don't. Like I said, they can do it, and then 3, 2, 1, it goes to shit. And I don't know why.
Me neither.
Like, I don't know why. And it's just something that I want to say give up, but you kind of give up on harping the same folks over and over and over again on quality versus time of day or whatever's driving you to not do quality, because at the end of the day, to be honest, it's affecting me zero.
Right.
But it's affecting you a lot. Many ways. Like one, if you're a known cheater in the gym and you expect me to ever do business with you in any capacity, like I'm not. Like I'm not going to refer something to you. Like it's just it becomes a core value issue. Like if I know you're cheating intentionally, there's a couple. There's not many. There's a couple. And events like Murph always expose that. I don't know. It's a frustrating thing that exists in the space that I don't know how to get through.
I don't think there is a way. I think it's, we're not the only gym that suffers from people not doing full reps.
At all. I've talked to many gym owners, and it's across the board. Been to many gyms, dropped into many places. It is across the board, and you're either going to hold yourself to a higher standard, and if that standard doesn't exist, like if you can't achieve said standard, working with your coach to achieve standard, I have nothing but respect for that, and I will. That's our job as coaches. Like, what's going on here? Why can't we do this? Is there dysfunction? Do we need to strengthen something, stretch something, whatever it might be? Diagnose that and then help you be better to explore the capability of your body. And that is the ultimate beauty in full range of motion. It's not counting the rep from Murph or whatever event we're doing or whatever workout it is. It's about you exploring the capacity that you have as an individual and achieving the best results for that at the end of the day. That is what it's about. But
and there's just something about moving well. That's one. If there was one thing that I have learned or taken away from this fitness, 6 years that I've gone through here, is I just want to move well all the time.
Yep.
And I like to move well, and I want to be able to continue to move well.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means, I want somebody to look over and no question about my rep being a good rep or whatever it is. It looked good. It was beautiful.
And not to mention, like when you move well, like you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel methodical. Like when you string together muscle ups and everything's tight, like you feel it. And there's something about that feeling for me personally that it's like, that's awesome that I'm capable of doing this. And things as simple as an air squat, like feeling your hips, feeling everything get tight perfectly in the bottom of a squat and flex out of that, feeling that your glutes, hamstrings, and quadriceps all work together. Like having that body and muscle awareness is a really good feeling. Like I've been focusing in this last year more on my on deadlifts. Enjoy deadlifts. I think it's one of the best ways to put mass on. And like the deadlifts we did yesterday, Like I'm really, really starting to feel like my whole leg's working in the deadlift, not just my back, at meaningful weights. So at the 75%, it's like really feeling all the muscles working together at the same time. And for me, I mean, that's years of training and neurological adaptations and putting a lot of effort into not just ripping the bar off the ground, but like, okay, as I start pulling this, pressing into the ground, pulling, engaging my glutes, hip extension, using my hamstrings as levers. Like there's a lot going on here, but when you start feeling that good movement and the body working, it's a little bit magical.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if that sounds lame, but to me in training, it's like even after this many years of training, I don't know, it's just awesome.
We're kind of like, this is what it's supposed to feel like type thing.
Yep.
And that can apply to any movement, the basic one.
Yep. I mean, back to not doing junk training and everything and all this stuff. It's like deadlift's gotten better. I've never done 23 strict pull-ups remotely one time in my life. And when we just tested it, max strict pull-ups, got 23. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, something's working.
So it's just
it's awesome.
Consistency, no junk training. And we just keep grinding and seeing your growth and continued growth. I'm still quote unquote gym rat. Now it's your fitness program is not living in the gym. It's as, what do you want to say? A normal person out there, and You're making it, not just making it work, but you're thriving. So.
And I think that makes it even more important for me is because I only have an hour here and I need to make that hour count.
Yep.
And I could stay a little bit longer or something, but that means I'm sacrificing time at home, hanging out with Lindsay, hanging out with Wyatt, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do that. So when I'm here, make it count, full send, whatever the intention calls for that day, but I'm going to make it count for that hour that I'm here.
Yep.
Because I know that it's just an hour.
Yep. And you managed to find that hour pretty much 5-6 days a week.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you. And I plan on that for the rest of my life.
I mean, that is the way. Statistically, fitness is the best thing you can do for your long-term health. And when people tell me they can't find the time to train, you don't prioritize it. It's that simple. You prioritize hours Netflix or whatever else, because I guarantee you the time exists in your day. And you prioritize it, and you're reaping the benefits, bro. And it's been really cool to see you. And I want to keep taking your time. I really appreciate you coming down here. But
I appreciate you having me on. It's good to be.
Good to catch up.
Good to be here. Good to catch up. Good to see you as always. Good to be talking to the Double Edge community. And just like one last thing is like, we all have the same 24 hours. I know everybody says that, but like, it just shows you when people say they don't have time for something. And if that's you saying that, like, you just need to look inner and realize that that's not true. But if you're hearing that, it just shows you like your competition right now it's so easy to be great because you just show up and do the work. You put in the time that nobody else wants to do because everybody else thinks they don't have the time for it.
Yep. But
if you just show up and put in the time, may not happen overnight. It's going to take you some time, a big grind. But everybody else is, I don't have the time. I don't have the time for that. Like, yeah, you do. You just got to do it. And people, when Lindsay was pregnant or when Wyatt was born, like, oh, you're going to eat a dad bod now? I'm like, bro, I've already lived that life. The fuck is a dad bod?
Yep.
I'm not going backwards.
Nope.
So, and they may have been jokingly saying it just as like poking fun or whatever because they're friends and whatnot. But also, like, I'm sure there's some truth to it and maybe like a little bit of projection from them.
I was going to say projection because a lot of people want to see you fail because it helps them feel more comfortable in their life. Yeah. So,
and I'm like,
unfortunately, that's why my circle each year keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, for sure.
Like my friendship circle pretty much solely exists inside the gym now. Like if you're in, like this is where, in my mind, greatness festers. I mean, these are people putting in the work. They want to be better. They're striving to be better in all aspects of their life. And that's people I want to surround myself with because that makes me better. And it makes me want to be better for them. And in turn, it's a win-win relationship. So like, honestly, I can't, and this might sound lame, I guess, but I can't think of a single person that's in my life really that's not a part of this gym.
Yeah. That's
in any
deep,
aspect.
and that's important. That's strong.
Yeah.
That's a testament to what you built here, though, too.
So, yeah. I don't know. I used to kind of get depressed when your friendship circle shrinks, but now it's like, oh, see ya.
Yeah, you just go different ways, and it's like that's the journey they want to take. Cool.
Yep.
This is my lane. If you don't want to be in this lane, no hard feelings, but I don't want to be in your lane.
Yeah. Yep. And unfortunately, the lanes that I want to participate in keep getting narrow and narrow and narrow because it keeps getting harder, harder, and harder. You know, striving to be the best version of yourself every single day to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. Yeah, you know, it's a grind.
It's a grind.
But it's very rewarding.
Yeah, and it's something that, you know, the foundation led up to this point. And it's not a lot of time at once or every day. It's just a lot of time over a longer time.
Yep.
You know, an hour a day is just, it's an hour.
It's an hour, but you stack that up over 20 years, it's profound.
Right. And you apply that to anything, fitness, business,
Anything.
like
Anything.
That's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's just in a simpler, funny terms. I had no freaking idea about what to do on a podcast. Didn't know how to turn on a camera. Didn't know about this equipment. Didn't know anything. But a good friend of mine, somebody helps with marketing. He's like, you need to do this. Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. And now I got the whole system, routine, and everything. It took a month or so. But put in the reps, do the work, and it starts getting better. And like you said, it goes for anything in life.
Mm-hmm.
You're just starting a new fitness journey. Don't expect to be great at it at first. Don't expect it to feel comfortable at first. But just get started and keep showing up. Then you'll get better, and you'll get better, and you'll get better. And then you'll look back on yourself 10 years from now and be extremely proud of yourself. The problem is when you get to 40, 50, 60 years old and you look back, it's oftentimes filled with regret. You know, it's usually the doctor telling you, oh, you got type 2 diabetes, you got cancer, you got, heart disease. You need to change your lifestyle now. Whereas 20 years ago, that could have all been prevented with that little 1 hour a day, making a little better food choice. Yeah.
Simple.
It's like, it's simple and complex and in the sense of it's so simple, it makes it feel complex because it's just consistency.
Yeah, you're like, there's got to be something harder, right? Or like, what am I missing here? Nothing. Just doing it is the hard part.
Yep.
Doing something consistently for a long time.
Yep. Right on, homie. Well, it's been good.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and thanks for coming on. And I didn't bring you in with the intro music, but, we got to take you out with the outro music. There it is.
Nice. That's classic. I know you want to get a custom thing, but
yeah.
This is OG now.
Thanks, Code.
Thank you.
Being in here on the podcast. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to throw this out there real quick. But if you do get value out of the stuff we do here, sometimes I don't even know if people listen to the stuff I put out, whatever, but I know there's a few people that do. You share it with friends, family, community. If there's anything on these or any of the stuff we create, we appreciate it. We appreciate it, and it takes time out of like Cody's day to come down here and do this and share these stories. And hopefully there's some inspiration found in these to help you along. That's kind of the goal here, is to share education, knowledge, inspiration, maybe make you laugh a little bit. So that is the goal. And we love you guys, and see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.